What are some skinny people problems? Everything rides up or falls down, because nothing fits your waist. Also bicycle seats. Skinny equals negative type comments or social norms. Like you can't call a really heavy guy a round blob, but it's cool to call me lanky or bony. It's not like other groups who get picked apart, but it's hard to be body positive when people are neutral to negative. Medical professionals always asking if you're eating enough. Most people won't understand why you have low self-esteem about your body and how you look. Looking like a goblin each time you eat a bit too much because your belly is full round when all the torso remains flat. People constantly telling you to eat more. Finding clothes in the right size because there's such a high demand for size small that they run out quickly. Overweight/obese people hating you for no reason, snarky remarks like go eat a burger or that's all you're gonna eat. Being cold all the time. Lack of padding in the booty area that makes it painful sitting on hard surfaces. Women call you skinny and you have no fkn idea if it's a compliment or a subtle insult at your masculinity, and you usually, I think correctly, assume the latter. I go through hoodies, shirts and sweaters so quickly because of my bony elbows. Also I'm cold all the time. Skinny shaming is a thing. I've been trying to gain weight my whole life. I can eat anything I want and gain almost no weight. Really irks me when I'm told you look like you need to eat a hamburger. Living in the US and finding clothes that fit a slim body well. My entire life I thought I was the fucked up one, then I went to visit my family in Colombia and went clothes shopping there for the first time and everything, all of the clothes, fit perfectly. US fashion isn't designed with thin people in mind. Bike seats. Always get nominated to go in tight spaces, like crawl spaces and shit. Being cold all, clapping hands, the clapping hands time, clapping hands. Skinny shaming is a thing. I used to work in a department of mostly obese people who ate a lot of unhealthy foods. We had potlucks twice a month, and they would be generally unhealthy. Everything was smothered in cheese, fatty meats, carbs, etc. I started to gain a lot of weight. I read a lot about nutrition, learned about macros and started logging on MFP. I would constantly get remarks from my co-workers when they'd see me eating healthy food that I should eat more sweets or whatnot to put some meat on my bones or even actually get an ass. During potlucks, I'd bring something healthy and mostly just not eat the cheese-topped baked mac and cheese and whatnot they'd bring. I would have people commenting all day about why I wasn't eating more and insisting I try their dish, even coming back to my desk with plates loaded up. Cannot tell you how annoying this shit was. I'm sure a lot of people have already said this, but I want to stress how absolutely awful it is trying to find pants that fit/look good. I have an insane metabolism and even though I work out it's insanely hard for me to build muscle. It seems every pair of skinny jeans that I've ever bought was still way too baggy for me. Which honestly has probably not helped my body dysmorphia, buying pants that are advertised for skinny people and you're still too skinny for them. Some jobs that require you to fit in small places. Constantly. Well-fitting clothes. Having no ass. Have to wear pants extra tight so they don't sag. So tight sometimes it's uncomfortable to sit. When I was really lean in my 20s, got down to 7% body fat, was very proud of that. I would get cold way sooner than everyone else. That and I sank like a stone in water even with full lungs. During high school, my overbearing sister kept wanting to weigh me. Sis, I was just skinny, I didn't have an eating disorder. Do you have an eating disorder? You look like a stick. Do you have bulimia? Do you need help? You look like that could break you. Do you eat? These are all comments from strangers when I was in my 20s and naturally thin. I'm 5'8" inches and I weighed 115 pounds then. People make negative comments about women's bodies no matter what. I'm now fat and yeah, I know being thin is no panacea for having people not comment on my body in ways I never asked for nor care for. Listening to everyone talk about their weight loss problems all the time, but getting dismissed and laughed at if you try to talk about your weight gain problems. Like it's not also a struggle that sucks and is unfair and makes you insecure about your looks, it's just not a problem in other people's eyes, so your feelings don't get to be important. Missionary. Real men like curvy women. The only ones that love skinny flat bitches are pedos. Only gay men like preteen boy-looking bitches. I've heard both. I'm a flat, small, skinny bitch. Comments from other people. People telling me to not talk about my body image issues because you're already skinny. Everybody telling you that you're too skinny and you need to eat more. Saying you look emaciated and sickly. You go to buy a piece of candy and they're like, you're going to eat all that in one sitting, aren't you? Disgusting. I'm within a healthy BMI range. It makes me want to say maybe the problem isn't that I'm too skinny. Maybe you're too fucking fat. I don't believe in body shaming, but that's exactly what they do to me. WTF? People thinking you're on drugs. Having to be near enormous people who don't take care of themselves. It was always okay for me to get hazed for being skinny, but God forbid I mean to a fat person, oh Lord no. It's hard to gain weight. I don't really do any sports, but I want to start doing a lot more. Perhaps muscles will help me out a bit. Anyone else here skinny but well endowed in the breast area? Finding clothes that fit both big boobs and super skinny everywhere else is so difficult. Anytime I have to wear a dress, my chicken legs and little waist are swimming in what looks like a potato sack while my boobs are squished. The worst. When you're skinny, you're not allowed to ask people how much they weigh. You're also not allowed to get mad when people ask how much you weigh. As others have said, people constantly commenting on it. I find another annoying / sometimes hurtful thing is posts on social media about real women have curves and stuff like that. I get that it's to make people feel better about their bodies, but do they really need to put down another body type to do so? Gaining weight is hard. I'm a pretty athletic 150 to 160. When I got called up for varsity they wanted me to bulk up. I got to 185, for about a week. I was eating like 4x what I normally would and doing 2 workouts on top of practice. I hated it. I performed well and looked really good. But as soon as I was out of school and done with sports, I cut that off real quick. The pressure to get bigger sucks, mostly because you have to compete. But having a coach tell you that you have the skill, just not the body, is really crushing. Well, I once got called cheese string legs in passing, which in fairness was actually quite funny. You're cold. The fact that we've always been told OMG, you're so skinny. And you never exactly know whether they mean it as praise or criticism. If someone pushes my I get sent flying. Nobody wants to be with a bag of bones. Men like a woman with meat on her. Well, excuse me for existing, rolling eyes face. Lap is uncomfortable for animals to sit in as it's too bony, so cats don't want to be petted unless you put a cushion there for them. I never considered myself fat when I was growing up. Sure, I could pinch an inch, and I had to tuck my shirts into my pants so the small of my back didn't show when I bent over, but that was fine with me. Then, around December of 2019, my appetite just dropped out of nowhere, and I lost 40 pounds in 8 months. I need a belt to wear my favorite jeans now, and even a men's small goes down to my mid-thigh, but I'm also quite short, so that doesn't help. People kept complimenting how skinny I looked, and asking how I lost the weight. I'm honest when they ask. Stress makes me nauseous, so I don't eat for most of the day some days. I know it isn't healthy, but now that I'm more attractive according to society's standards, I'm terrified to eat like I used to. No one's telling me not to eat, but there's this voice in the back of my head telling me that I'll get fat again if I do. I have a foamed mattress and I don't get that full feel experience. BC, I'm not heavy enough to sink into the mattress. Your own butt isn't comfy. Usually you need to eat more, but one guy pissed me off. This guy is a teacher and he whispered to someone and I caught him saying he's too skinny. I think he's doing coke. I was a student in middle school. Where do I score some coke, asshole? The amount of comments I get on my body that people think are okay just because I am skinny and a guy. It's constant and I'm sick of it.